Speaker Johnson just made a bold prediction regarding the Trump conviction. You guys got to check this out.
Joins us right now with reaction. Mr. Speaker, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
We were just talking about how ever since the verdict, a lot of money has been coming into the Trump campaign. And I was just reading in Punchbowl that the National Republican Congressional Committee, you guys raised $300,000 last night, which eclipses only the day you were elected Speaker, and you raised $175,000. So obviously, angry voters are motivated voters.
They are, and there's good reason to be motivated, of course. I mean, this entire thing is absurd. I'm a lawyer. I was a litigator for 20 years. I was in court with President Trump a few weeks ago to see this for myself. What happened there was outrageous. And you're right, the American people see it. This is a purely political exercise, not a legal one. And everybody knows that. They know intuitively that it's wrong, and the people are outraged. I'm in one of those swing states today. I'm in Ohio and Michigan today. I'll be in Illinois tomorrow. I've been in, by the end of this week, we'll have been in 115 cities in 29 states. And I'm telling you guys, something is happening out there. People see what is going on. They see that the Democrats are so desperate because President Trump is crushing Joe Biden in the polls. They see the Democrat Party and the left so desperate to stop him that they'll risk the destruction of our entire legal system to do it. And that is not hyperbole. That's what's going on here. We broke records on our fundraising platforms last night. We'll continue to do that. We even set up a new website. Go to supportdjt.com, because that's how us in Congress, members in Congress, are going to help stand with him and defend this and make sure the right verdict is rendered November 5th. That's the American people's verdict.
So, Mr. Speaker, if I could get you to put your legal hat back on, not as Speaker, but how does this play out? I mean, you got the former president. He's going to appeal this. Do you think that this is going to happen before the election? Most analysts say it's not. Do you think that the Supreme Court has a duty to step in since this will impact the election? I know we want to act like he's just a normal guy, but he's a leading presidential candidate. The voters should know what's going to happen here. So what do you...
Developments yet to come, but I do believe the Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented, and it's dangerous to our system. I mean, we've all discussed this before, and you all talk about it all the time. This is diminishing the American people's faith in our system of justice itself. And to maintain a republic, you have to have that. People have to believe that justice is fair, that there's equal justice under law. They don't see that right now. And I think that the justices on the court, I know many of them personally, I think they're deeply concerned about that as we are. So I think they'll set this straight, but it's going to take a while. You're right. The process takes a while to play out. The Democrats know that, of course, and they're dragging it out. That was the whole objective. They want to try to bankrupt Donald Trump. They want to diminish his credibility and go after his character. They wanted to keep him off the campaign trail, which they were successful in doing for many weeks. And now they want to call him the convicted felon. This will be overturned, guys. There's no question about it. It's just going to take some time to do it.
Right. If anyone has any experience with the legal system, one thing that it will do is if you are in a long court case, that is going to drain you financially. Now that you'll have to pay out of pocket is exponential, especially with the amount of lawyers that Donald Trump probably has. And that's not even the biggest takeaway from this. The biggest takeaway from Donald Trump being in the courtroom nonstop is that he cannot campaign. He can't visit places across America, actually run a proper campaign because he's stuck. He can't speak, he's got a gag order, and he's stuck in a courtroom. They just want to silence this man so that he cannot get his voice out. And that's what they're doing. It's successful. I think it's the best thing for him because Americans are seeing this for what it is, and it's a sham. And if this does not get their vote, I don't know what will.
The sentencing date is July 11th. That's after the first debate. So the two candidates will debate. Then there's going to be the sentencing date. How's that going to affect the RNC? What if he has home confinement? He can't go? Sure. Does the convention still happen? Does he zoom in on the screen? How does he campaign? If he goes to prison, what does that look like? Will he be in prison with Secret Service on Election Day?
We're in uncharted waters, right? Obviously, there's no prohibition against him being elected president, even if he's confined somewhere. Right. But I certainly hope that doesn't happen. There's lots of discussion. We talked about it all last night. There'll be more discussion today about how we might adjust things in the schedule and all of that. But I'm going to tell you what will happen. I predict this will increase turnout on our side. He will win decisively. He will become the next president. He was already, as I said, crushing Joe Biden in the polls. I think as this plays out and people get more and more frustrated about it, I think it will help us, and that huge enthusiasm gap that already existed between the Trump and Biden campaigns will be even wider. People now see Donald Trump as a symbol of something. He's more than just an individual. He's a symbol of fighting back against this government corruption, the deep state, the bureaucracy, and all the rest. And we need his leadership in the White House now more than ever.
I mean, just seeing for the last 5-6 weeks, everything just stopped. Everyone's watching. It becomes the #1 story in big and small towns across the country. You wonder, the other 3 cases, the other 3 indictments, will they see the light of day? No one can say for sure, but we expect at any time the Supreme Court to rule on immunity. You have such a rich legal background. What should we all be looking for there? I know what you're hoping for. What are some of the rulings they could have?
Well, look, I do believe that the court needs to address that clearly. We have to set a standard here. There's a really important principle of immunity for a commander-in-chief. I mean, that's always been part of our legal tradition, and it makes good sense. You can't have somebody sitting in the Oval Office worried about some rogue prosecutor somewhere, some Soros-funded DA or some lawyer that's going to come after them for their decisions. And so that principle needs to be made concrete and needs to be expanded. I think this court will do the right thing because they see the abuse of the system right now. And that's the greatest peril here of all at the end of the day. This transcends even Donald Trump. It's about whether or not the people believe in our institutions, our system of justice. There's nothing larger than that in our system.
Right. And we were talking to Mark Penn, the very famous pollster, a little while ago, Mr. Speaker, about how this is going to boomerang on the Democrats. But nonetheless, even though it looks like it's going to boomerang and come back to haunt them, every day, every minute they can, the campaign is going to refer to him as Donald Trump, convicted felon, right up until it's overturned on appeal, if it is.
Yeah, and they'll still say that after the appeal, I'm sure. That's what was the whole objective of this thing. But I'm telling you that the people see right through it. I've been all across the country, north, south, east, west. Doesn't matter whether I'm in a blue state or a red state. People are disgusted by this. They see exactly what's happening. Old charges, a tainted judge. I mean, think of it. In the last couple of weeks, they've been apoplectic. They want Justice Alito to be recused from, future cases and proceedings because his wife flew a flag at their house. This judge on this case in Manhattan was an open Biden supporter, an open, activist, a political activist, and no one cared about that. So the double standard is clear. Everybody sees it.
At this point, I think what Trump has to do is just lean into it 100%. Okay, you want to go after me? Sure. I'm going to be Nelson Mandela. I will win this presidency from behind the jail cell. This case right here is as much of a witch hunt as I've ever seen in my entire life. But the saddest thing about this entire process is that I go on social media yesterday and I see people my age dancing. Donald Trump's arrested. Yes, let's go. Hip, hip, hooray. We're having a parade. No. Are you a fool? Do you not see this for what it is? If they could attack him with the most made-up charges out there, they can go after you, they can go after your neighbor, they can go after your grandma, they can go after anyone. You have to be smarter than that. You have to realize, even if you hate Donald Trump, this has nothing to do with Donald Trump. This has to do with the rule of law, and we have lost that in this country because the Democrats have gone crazy. They have gone absolutely crazy. Joe Biden needs to be stopped. This is madness, and there's only one man who can do the job right now, and that's Donald Trump. We need to get this man elected to preserve America at this point. I know that sounds very hyperbolic, but it's not. I really don't think it is. If he does not win this next election, I might move. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think? Will Donald Trump ever see the inside of a jail cell? Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious what you guys think will happen. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure to smash a like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.